really, I'm very, very happy to see you again and to have the opportunity to have a nice exchange of ideas and of experiences. So I won't take more and I will share my screen. Do you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
You will see.
Okay. So, well, for this second session, I would like to discuss with you how can we build transdisciplinary research. No, we spoke a little bit last time about how to try to construct an interdisciplinary research, what were like the elements, no, that we'll be considering, and which will be like the theoretical frameworks that could allow us to construct different type of methodologies and to combine the qualitative and the quantitative methodologies, no? And then if we are working in a transdisciplinary work, I think that we have to then discuss what are the ethics around this transdisciplinary research and our responsibilities. So this will be my outline. No, I will give you a short story, although it is a very, very long story of all the participatory or research actions or transdisciplinary research. We will discuss a little bit what's participation. And I think there were like 2 or 3 articles or papers, no, that they were discussing what about participation. And then we will come to the ethics and about decolonizing methodologies, no? And now, mainly in the anthropological work that it is being questioned, no, or in the social sciences field work that has been questioned, no, since the 10 last years. Then there has been a lot of discussion about how to decolonize not only our perceptions, not only our way of looking the problems, but also the methodologies. And then afterwards, conclusions, and we will have time for some questions and comments. So only to remind you, I will make this little, about the action research or about the transdisciplinary research. If we want to understand this complexity of the socio-ecological problems, we have to really be playing with different frameworks, with different possibilities to understand how the social are not only like integrated to the environmental problems, but to see it really with the perspective of the social view, or of the political view, or of the cultural view. And then afterwards, how to then construct collaborative actions with equity and justice with the people that we are working, and how then can we really go and understand our capacities of really look at other perspectives to understand really other worldviews, other values, other knowledges. And that is why there has been a lot written lately about the decolonizing methodologies. And also, we talked last session about all the multiple pathways, to our sustainability. There is not one way. So that is very important, because then we can understand that it depends on the local context, that it depends on the political context, that it depends very much on the cultural context. So then we can go in one way or the other, and that there is not a unique solution, but there are multiple solutions, and that we can be working on that when we are really trying to build a participatory research and trying to be questioning if this is an imposition, if our research, what has to do with colonized view or not, and if we are dealing with justice or injustice problems. So then we have to be challenging all the time the hegemonic perspectives of thoughts and knowledge. And we have to be conscious about it. We have to be really always questioning, oh, why I'm saying that? Oh, I'm bringing only this view and I am really not understanding the other views, no? And we saw also, that this was a proposal of Meadows, of Daniel Meadows, to really understand like the different hierarchies of leverage for a transformation, no? So then if we want to have like a very shallow, transformation, we will be in the upper part, and more deeper we want to go in the sense of really significant transformation, then we have to be working on this type of analysis. And then afterwards, we have to understand the social structures, the institutions that are managing all these feedbacks and that are organizing why people are making a certain decision or another one. And also, as Pablo was saying, when we were discussing the planetary boundaries, I told you about this brilliant work about Leach and also Rockstrom, that they were also trying to understand it from the social point of view. This is the planetary boundaries, not explained only as the biophysical boundaries, but about the social aspects. And then it was questionings about who is gaining and who is losing when we are making a decisions, or how are the planetary boundaries really set by power relationships, and are they undermining justice and democracy, or they are building more justice and democracy? But these questions we have to be always asking ourselves when we are dealing with a socio-environmental project. So then also we saw that to really achieve transdisciplinarity, well, there were a lot of pathways, and first, that from the disciplinary point of view or multidisciplinary point of view, where the ecological studies or research were studying like only one part of it, and then afterwards the social scientists will be coming to explain other little parts, but they were made by parts, Then afterwards, there were a lot of efforts, and there are a lot of efforts to really constructing disciplinarity in the sense of really an integration, and to be sharing the questions of research, to be sharing the common theories and the common methodologies. But when we come with transdisciplinary aspects, then we are driven really by real or weak problems, and that it involves multiple stakeholders. So we have to develop different strategies to understand their different perspectives, but also that the different stakeholders will be understanding the different perspectives among themselves, and to understand our own perspectives coming from the academic world. So then, how here we have to be really working on the deconstruction of discipline. We have to be really trying to understand how knowledge is created and who is dealing with this creation of knowledge. How are the ruptures of epistemological paradigms? Where are the frontiers of the knowledges? Where this hybridization of these knowledges? But that we have to be clear that it is a politicizing social production of knowledge. It depends very much on who is driving this knowledge, and afterwards who is making the decision about this knowledge. So then we have to be understanding which are the power strategies. So then for the participatory action research, also there is a long story. They started around the 40s, in the 50s, and trying to change their basic principles of the research. First, to be recognizing the individual, but also the collective capacities of each group, understanding or questioning the priorities, questioning the hierarchies, understanding other cultures or other ways of looking the problems, and this was with a lot of respect, and always trying to be no, really informed, and that the information will be flowing through all the networks. So one of the persons that we have to really be considering always when we are talking about action or participatory research, it is Paulo Freire. No, he was a pedagogue. He was very much interested in the education. But what he was saying, it was always education by transformation and transformation by education. We cannot really understand the education if it doesn't have the objective or the goal of a social transformation. So he was not only a specialist in pedagogy, but also as a sociologist, and afterwards, as a historian and as a philosopher, but that he was always conducting his research based on this education for communities transformation, through really a real participation. So then how new knowledge will be produced and how social transformation will be provoked, so he was always fighting against a colonial perspective, always fighting against like only development by modernization, or by also criticizing very much the positivism paradigm. And also what it was very, very important, it is that he considered that all humans are dynamic agents and they are capable of reflexivity and change. Only one question. Do you hear a lot of noise? Because this is now the...
No, it's very clear. It's very clear,
No?
Elena.
Okay, okay.
All good.
Because I hear noise here upstairs, and I didn't know if you are hearing the noise that I am hearing. Okay. You tell me, and then after I can change, but the internet is not very good in my office, but well. So then for the participatory action research, what we have to be, or what the Paulo Freire and many of these educators were saying, it is we have to make an action and to reflect upon it. And then afterwards to make an action and to be reflecting. So it will have always to be a circle of actions and reflections. So in that sense, if we are making the design of our research, we have to put it in action, but then afterwards to make a reflection with the people, with the communities that we are working with. We have, when we design our research, to see how we are dealing with the power relations. So we have to put them in actions, and also we have to reflect upon them and to be reflecting in it a collective way with the communities that we are working. And that's so with the types of knowledge, in the sense of the exchange of knowledges, of the type of knowledges that we are doing. So we put them into action and we reflect upon these types of knowledge. We will be identifying roles of every person that it is participating in the research project, whose responsibilities, or which are the responsibilities of each person, and which is the political action, because they are in the core of this participatory action research. It has always a political action because we are looking for a transformations. So then what it is very important in this participatory action research, of what we will be calling afterwards transdisciplinary research, it is the co-construction of our research questions. It is not that we design our research questions and then we come to the community and say, this is my research questions and I'm going to, you will be only answering my questions, So we will be constructing them because we will be problematizing their what they are living, what they are thinking about it, and then afterwards, in that sense, a prioritization of problems. That these different type of methodologies, but we call them like a tree of problems, for example, and then afterwards to come to a prioritization of their own problems, and then afterwards to construct together these research questions. So then if you see, and we will discuss it in the first session, then the theoretical framework that is sustaining the participatory action research will be that we are considering the social construction of the reality. This is, no, that there are multiple interpretations of the reality, and it depends on where we are. If we are a farmer, if we are a woman, if we're a young person, if we're an old person, no? So it depends on where we are that we see and that we interpret that reality in a different way. And all this research has been very much based on different approaches, theoretical approaches of the feminism, of the post-structuralism, of the critical theory, and mainly about the constructivist theory. But no, all of them, of course, they have this constructivist theory approach, and they have been developing different aspects that have been enriching the transdisciplinary research or the participatory action research. So then I'm not going to be deepening on this because we don't have time, but only that you will know that there is a lot of discussion and a lot of papers and conferences and workshops that have been organized only to discuss what are the feminist studies bringing into the discussion of the transdisciplinarity, or what is the critical theory bringing into the discussion of the transdisciplinary research. So what then we see in this new approach of education and transformation is also these new epistemologies. First of all, they are going in the counter-hegemonic model. It is like, as Pablo Freire was saying, no development to only by technology or by modernization. We have to question that hegemonic model. Is it really like that? Or people prefer to do it other way? And always also to be questioning who will be winning of that model and who will be losing of that model. And in that sense, we come to the model of the planetary boundaries with the social aspects, that Leach and co-authors were all also questioning this. And there's this new epistemology because it's based on understanding the social struggles and their local knowledges. Why are they in that situation, and if they really are struggling for changing or not? In which phase are they, or the communities with whom we are working, in the phase of transformation or not? And there are a lot of people that have been working this, not only Paulo Freire in Brazil and in Latin America, but also Gandhi, with the Soul Power, or Swans in Tanzania with all the force that they were working of the integration of local knowledge, or Rajesh Tandon also in India, that they really made all the school about community-based research, Fals Borda in Colombia, he was also looking for all the alternative institutions for emancipation and radical social change. And in the UK, Robert Chambers, that I suggested some of the lectures of Robert Chambers, that he will be also discussing the participatory rule appraisal. So then, in this education and transformation, what it will be important, it is, well, what's participatory? What is democratic? Are we building really a democratic process or not? Are we developing practical knowing, in the pursuit of these human purposes, of these worthwhile human purposes, grounded in this participatory worldview or not, So then again, here it is to bring this action and reflection, really to be always, questioning our actions, and then questioning theory and practices to really, try to make flourish individual persons and communities. So for participation, in the second point of here, it is, well, what are we calling up, or what are we thinking about when we are talking about participation? because also, no, it could be a manipulated participation, no? It's only like, come on, let's participate, but I have already decided what are we going to do? I already decided how are we going to do the things, and I have already decided which are your problems, no? So I only like only fulfilling a requisite, but really I am in a manipulated participation, no? Or in a passive participation, no, I only like telling them what are we going to do, but I'm only leaving little space, no, that people will be giving their voice, no, or only participation by consultation, or participation for material incentives. I give you, and then you will participate, no, or functional participation, or really to start to really construct interactive participation and self-mobilizations, no? So then this was based in Einstein, no, that he was discussing it since 1969, no, and criticizing when it is really a non-participation or a tokenism, that we are only talking about it, but really we are not really meaning that people will be participating, or really to give power to their own citizens, no? So there are a lot of so-called ladders of participation. This it's Einstein's, but also there are like different ones, as the Pretty's ladder that I also give you in the one of the papers that I hope that you read. And also then to always be discussing about power in each one of the ladders. How are we building this partnership? Are we really delegating power or no? How are we dealing with the hierarchies? If we are professors, and then afterwards, or what we call scientific or scientists, and then we are saying, oh no, but I am in a hierarchy, I am really in a superior way than a farmer, because I know I have knowledge, scientific knowledge, and they have only an indigenous knowledge or a citizen knowledge, So then also, what we are always talking about, how do we take this participation really as a transformative process? So methods, there are a lot of them, We can see that in the qualitative data research, there are many of them, but it depends how are we going really to construct them, Because also it could be only that we are only take them as qualitative data, so we could be making mental maps, but we already designed what type of map do we want to construct, and only like letting people only to tell us a little bit, but we have already decided everything. Or also community mapping, we can already bring even, and sometimes I have seen the maps of the community and not asking the people, what do they see in their community? How do they will be mapping their own community? Which will be like the important points that people are looking of their own community, Is the church more important than their own parcel, Or this the water pond or the water spring, is much more important than other aspects. So we have to let people to be expressing and to mapping their own communities, or to expressing their life, as a river. But then what's in that river? What has been from like the 1930s to now, or from the 60s, or from the 90s, or whatever they choose to talk about it? Or how are we dealing with theater? Are they participating? They want to make a theater piece, and then afterwards to be exposing their own problems through songs, through paintings, through theater, to photo voice, Or the focal groups, how are we going to really respect how they want to organize, Many times we say, oh, the focal groups will be of 4 or 5 persons. They should be first women, and then young, and then But how did we ask them how they want to participate as a focal group, or even if they want to make a focal or organize a focal group, So in each one, we can have a lot of questions, and the important thing is to be really co-constructing their methodologies, and to be knowing for what, and which will be more or less the results, no, of choosing one way or the other methodology. No? But then what we have to always see is who participates in what. No, this is sometimes we bring farmers, no, and if you see here in this picture, no, they are mainly men, no, only here there is a woman, no. So then, is that really participatory? No, if it is only no the presence of men, or here, no. Well, if we start to see it's really he a farmer or no, if this young person, no, that is besides him can speak or not, no, or no, even in his gesture, no, it's really like saying it is like that, no. So how then are they participating? But also what it will be very important to ask is who is absent, who is not coming in the meetings, and who participates then in which activities, in which stage, no? How do they participate? And if really they are making decisions, how are they making these decisions, no? Are they understanding my language? Or they are speaking other language, and then it's difficult to communicate because I am speaking Spanish and there are indigenous people who don't speak Spanish and they would prefer to speak in Nahuatl, no, or in Maya, or no, whatever language we are dealing with. So when we are bringing ideas together, we can have a very rich panorama of many of the ideas. But then who told it? No, who said that really the pollution, mining was a very important issue? Or who is saying that it's missing, or they are not having enough credits, or poverty, or no, who is saying what? And why they are saying it, and how they are relating it with the main ideas that we have been discussing. So then in this transdisciplinarity, what we have to always ask, no, it is how are we dealing with the knowledge and power? Because finally, no, what counts as real knowledge? And what is real knowledge about it? No, so that is the epistemic core of the colonialism, in the sense of that is not the knowledge, and that is a true knowledge. And we have to be questioning always, is that the true knowledge? So there are a lot of challenges, no, for engaging in both decolonizing practices, no, and we have to be really like making ruptures in our own epistemic knowledge, no? How can we reimagine that the indigenous people will be approaching the problem, or how do we reimagine how they are building their own philosophies and their own methodologies? So then it is always no confronting, with the Western academic canon in its philosophy, but also in the way of teaching, no, in the pedagogy, in the ethics, in the paradigms, in the organizational practices, in their own methodologies, but also in the discourses that are imposed and then afterwards that become hegemonic for this or that knowledge, or this or that solution for that ecological problem, no? So we have to be always criticizing the institutional power and reframing all the time the social problems and reflecting upon them, no? So then we start, when we are working with a community, we start like making the historical background, no? What is this community, from where they come from, which are like the main problems, since when and why? Or how do they explain their own problems, and since when they are explaining, and since where they see that there were transformations that were affecting them, and they were provoking serious consequences in their health, for example, or in their soils, or whatever we are looking for, and how are they constructing these collective memories? Also, what we have to always think about it is not to reduce this complexity of what is social complexity of our societies to simple boxes. This is, no, indigenous communities are more or less thinking the same thing. And we say, no, It depends. It depends if you are a woman, it depends if you are an old woman or you're a young woman. It depends if this young woman has been other experiences, for example, in migration, or she has been in other experiences in their education, no? So then we come to a big complexity because of the heterogeneity of indigenous communities, of farmers, of youth, of women, no? And then we cannot talk that about one feeling or one perspective of women. No, there will be multiple perspectives that women will be bringing because they depend if, no, they are coming from an indigenous community, they are coming from the rural part, or they are coming always from this bridging rural urban landscapes. So then we have to reinvent always new languages to reimagine, no, the problems and the different perspectives. And something that it is very important, it is this empathy, no, this is to be locating ourselves and highlighting the place from where we are writing, no? Always we have to place ourselves there and to see and to really reflect and to act and to reflect. And this is our ethical responsibility in the sense that we have to have like this intellectual engagement that has to be connected with the land where we are working, to the place where we are working, with their own stories, no, but written by them or said by them or told by them, rather, no, than really claiming a universal authority of that community. So then, no, what we have to also see it is that there are critical aspects also of the transdisciplinary research or of the participatory action research. Why? Because we don't have to see it as a panacea. No, it is, we have to work it also in other aspects. Because also, no, there, even though we are reflecting all the time, it's a form of power. No, we are deciding the times perhaps, or we are deciding, no, some of the methodologies. So we have to be always be aware of this. We can be reproducing inequity. So then how, no, really to be trying or to imagine, no? And that is why it's so important to be in the context, to be always not thinking from the local point of view to then say, what will be the consequences if I make this change or not? Or if we make this decision or not, which, no, will be the consequences of social inequities. So we have to be always working in this dialogical compromise, but not always it is achieved. And that is why also, no, there are critical aspects to be always, that we have to look at them and to see, no, where I make compromises, where not, no. If we really are willing, no, to make a repoliticization of participation, no, or not, or we are saying, oh, no, that's too political, so I withdraw. And then what will be the consequences of your withdrawal, no? And then, no, we have to be always interconnecting their different scales, no? This is the local, the regional, the national, and the global scales. And sometimes when we are making or doing transdisciplinary research, we forget about the scales. We are so much focused at the local level that then afterwards we lose the perspective or the global perspective, no? Which will be like the global context of this problem and how to really be addressing it, you know, and at the different levels, no, or scales. So as conclusions then, in our projects, if we are trying to really work in participatory action research or transdisciplinary research, we have to really try to include, no, our perspectives to understand the different realities in different ways and not to be judging them. No, it is, we have to really try to understand them to say, I really thought it was that way, but they see it that way, or they see it like a positive thing and I thought it was a very negative thing, no? And then to try to understand why do they see it in a positive way and I was always looking at that problem in a very negative way, no? So participation, no, it's always when we decide to make a participatory research, we know then that we be dealing in a political process, no? In participation, it's not like a technique. It is not like, oh, to put them to talk and I give you 5 minutes to talk and that's it, no? It's a long, no, process, and it's a political process because as Freire and many of the people that have been working in this aspect, they say, well, yeah, because through participation, we want to change, we want to make a transformation, and that implies a political process. Now, also, we have to be very aware that there has been a growing delegitimation of forms of popular participation, no? We see it very much, for example, in the World Bank projects, no? No, you have to deal with participatory processes. You have to, have like a checkpoint and say, yeah, it was participatory because, well, they say yes, and that's it, no? So then there has been a growth of this legitimation. And so we have to be aware of that. And we have to really then understand why yes, why not. But then also the communities, they are always now complaining about this, no? You are coming, you're extracting, no? As extractivism, really, extracting our knowledge. And then afterwards, we don't see you once again, no? Or, no, how are you going to help us in really make a better or a more just situation, or to be constructing more equality in the access of water, for example, or in the access of food, or in the access of whatever, of the forest, no, of whatever we are working with the communities, no? And as I tell you, the decolonizing methodology have been growing. I suggested one of the books that has a lot in this, and it is very constructed in a very peculiar way. It is not like chapters in the sense, the typical chapters, no, but they are coming as always references from people that were participatory, and they were saying, I face this problem, this other problem, this other problem, how could I solve it? Or so it is a very interesting book, and it was written by an indigenous scholar, no, of New Zealand, and she was trying to really afterwards to invite other indigenous people as Silvia Cusicanqui, that she's from Bolivia, and the people from Nicaragua, that also they were making these decolonizing methodologies. But not always what we have to think about our ethical responsibility, no? What are we saying to the communities with whom we are working? What are going to be the results? Or what are we saying that we are doing? And then how are we creating expectations of the communities? And that we have to really understand, what were the expectations? And I am fulfilling those expectations or not? Or I was really more working in some soil aspects, and they really didn't matter about these soil aspects, but they wanted more about the water pollution or the relation of the soil and water pollution, no? So then we have to always see which were their expectations, to really try to discuss them and to say, in that problem, I cannot solve it, no? I cannot be part of it. So I have or to withdraw, or we have to change, because also that is valid, no? If they tell us, the main problem is violence, and yeah, well, yes, I know that it will be violence as a main issue, but no, I don't have like the possibilities of changing that. I have the possibilities to be, more understanding the water pollution, and then we can work on that. But I don't have like even the tools and the methodologies to be facing violence, for example, no? So also we have the responsibility of saying which are limitations and in which we can really be much more involved, no? So thank you very much. I hope that the main ideas were clearly expressed, but I am here to hear your questions and comments.
Thank you very much, Elena, for the
Yeah.
presentation. And now, well, I would like to open a first round of reactions, of questions, or ideas that you may have after this presentation, or if you want to, you know, go for someone in particular, Elena, that you think. So.
Yeah, well, first, I would like to hear if there are some questions, no, or something, points that you didn't understand, or that you are questioning, no, or that you don't agree, or yeah, mainly, what did you feel when you were in the field work, no, with the communities with whom you were working, and did you feel that you were understood, or that you were understanding their problems or not? No, or how did you feel that? So mainly, would I like to hear these questions or comments or disagreements, of course, no? If you disagree with certain points, we can discuss them.
I see that Maralatiana has unmuted herself. You want to go in, Maralatiana?
Yes. So thank you, Elena, for this presentation. It's clear, and I can have many information about the social aspect. But I have some questions about the decolonization methodology. In my field, it is really, really difficult to, what I mean, to decolonize the methodology, because when we already have some goal about our project, so when we communicate with stakeholders, when when we try to co-construct with them our methodology, the aspect, we always need to put some line that we can, some line about we need to go in this way, but you need to help us how to go. I don't know if you understand it or not, Elena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
well, finish, yeah, continue, Mara.
yeah. And then when I heard also you to say that we need to respect some democratic way about the idea or ideas or suggestion of all participatory in our project or in our discussion, then it will really, really difficult to take all the ideas. So that is my questions and comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're completely right in the sense that, you know, in a project that it is only, for example, for 1 year, no, or even for 2 years, it is very complicated, very complex, no, to really achieve a participatory or a transdisciplinary research, because we have to spend time in the communities. We have to really go there and to say, I think that no, this group of persons, they are working very hard and they are doing it very well, but no, or on the contrary, no, all this group of people, they are really illegally logging and selling the wood. Oh, what I am going to do with that? No, I am going to deal with them or not? They are going to be one of my stakeholders or not? No. So of course you have to spend time in the field work, no? And many times the projects, no, that are in the short term, they are very difficult to really go into this, no? So I think that we were not expecting, no, that you will be making a transdisciplinary research, no, and a participatory action research, because you were, yeah, very limited in your times, no? And also, you have to have like a large group of people, no, in the sense of, if we are alone or we are 2 or 3 only persons, no, and we are going to the field and we're saying, and you are concentrated in one point and on the other points, no, then it is difficult. And also really to have a social, no, scientist in the group, no, and to look at it in a very, because he or she will have totally a very different perspective than, no, a biologist, or than an edaphologist, or, no, that we are much more concentrated in some problems than in other ones, no? And perhaps, oh, when we go to the community, we said, oh, did you know, or did you perceive that there was a big discussion about this and that, but I didn't understand very well, or, no? So then also, of course, when we are working more in transdisciplinary projects, we are a large group of people that we are coming really of different disciplines, and that we are trying to communicate first ourselves, no, in the sense, if we are really explaining or looking at the same problems in the same way, or it's completely different. And I will set you I put you an example. I am working now in a sustainable livestock project, no, of cattle raising in Mexico, in tropical Mexico. Okay. And then they are always talking about sustainable livestock. And I said, no, we cannot speak about sustainable livestock, even if we are trying to build, no, ecological corridors, even that we are working in the protected areas, even though we are really, making a participatory project, and people are very much involved and trying to change their own farms and doing a lot of things, no? So yeah, I said it's a participatory, but we cannot say that we are really working in a sustainable livestock project, because there are different phases, and there are some stakeholders that we cannot bring them into the discussion because they are very powerful and they are not interested in speaking with us. No, they don't want to communicate with us. And these are the feedlots, no, in the sense that of the industrials that are making the meat industry. And of course, they want the quicker they have the meat, the best. No, so then it is very difficult for us to bring them into the discussion. So then we have different perspectives, no? So, but we have to discuss them, no? And that is what always all these philosophies or all these epistemologicals will be saying. We have to discuss it. We have to have time to reflect on our actions. And even though you have one view, no, always to say, I will discuss it with, an old man of our old farmer, and let's see what he thinks about my theory, no? And when you start to think and I say, no, but he is explaining that the soils are this and that, and that the soils are in this classification, and I didn't know that they are classifying it that sense. So you have to have like the possibility to have this exchange of knowledges, and to really think that your knowledge is not the only knowledge to explain that reality or that problem. That's the key points, no? And then afterwards, little by little, to be constructing and it will be coming like the change also in you as a person, or as a scientific, or as a scientist person, that you will be saying, now I understand why are they doing this and not that, or yeah. So that is the key points of this, no? How you change your own mindset, no? I don't know if that makes it more clear.
Yes, thank you, Elena.
Mm-hmm.
Elena, I have a question, if I can.
Yep. Yeah, of course.
Jumping on what Malatena asked, because I'm also involved in a lot of these discussions, because of course there's this idea of decolonizing research, and you know, this is, as you said yourself, you explained it, it's an old idea, yeah. But parts of the research system, globally and nationally, are still discovering this. Yeah. So Pablo and I spent a week recently in Helsinki with organizations that fund environmental research and sustainability research. We're just discovering, yeah, they need more social sciences, and they need to decolonize the work that they do, and there's always a part of politics and advocacy also in the work of in funding research and in doing research. Now, the question I have is, from your experience, is there kind of, in a way, a disciplinary bias, yeah, in the calls to decolonize, but also simply to do participatory research? That is, I feel that some disciplines are really not ready for this, while others are obviously very ready for this because it's where this was born. Right, and I think some of the challenges that the teams in the program faced is that they come from disciplines where these debates are very, very young. Yeah, if they have started at all, right? I mean, development economics. I mean, I don't know if you realize that there's a, you know, what participation is all about. You know, because it's all about taking data and crunching it and then figuring out, you know, interesting insights from that. So some disciplines are some disciplines more likely to embrace, you know, participatory and decolonizing approaches than others. Yeah, and what can one do when one finds himself or herself in that discipline, being very sympathetic to the agenda you share, but you know, realizing that nobody else around them cares. Yeah. So this is one question. The second question, which is linked to this, is that we're talking about the context that we're talking about is that of international funding for research. Yeah. And this whole sector depends, well, I'd say desperately, on this idea of projects, right? To me, in my experience, projects are the ultimate colonial device, right? Because when we talk about participatory research, we're talking about long-term, open, politically aware kind of commitments to a set of ideas and a set of values, right? And sometimes it's very hard to fit these ideas into the project. So all of the donors are, you know, trying to figure out how to decolonize their own work, but nobody's ready to just give up this idea of a project that begins and ends within, you know, 12 to 24 months, that has a budget, that has a log frame, that has a, you know, an output and an input, etc. So, and this is reality. So we need to work within this mold of the project. What's your experience in terms of strategies to push the boundaries, or, you know, the narrow boundaries of projects, and to push for more participatory research also within this overall very restrictive frame?
Yeah, thank you, Francesco. Very good questions. And yeah, very difficult to answer them. But from the first question, yeah, I think that there are disciplines that will be a little bit more like having the possibility to open doors, no? But sometimes sociologists can be also very, very close, no? And to say, no, I am making, you know, my data about migration and migratory and this and that, and it is, no, the push and pull theory, and I am in that, no? And that's it, no? And when they have somebody that answers, oh, I wanted to migrate because I like to migrate, I like to visit places. No. But from my theoretical point of view, you cannot answer that, no? And they are really dogmatic, no? But yeah, I know that, for example, and I think that it started within anthropological sciences, no, in the sense of, are we only extracting information, or are we constructing, no, really the problems together? And then we were very much criticized, no, in anthropology as anthropologists. And I have to say, no, the anthropology started as a colonial discipline, no, only to understand the others, to really subject them more, or to control them more, or to understand, oh no, which are the authorities, and then, okay, what are they thinking? So then I can control them more, no? So that was a perspective of the colonial anthropological views, no? Now, of course, it is very much different, no, in the sense of how can I understand how people, no, that with whom I'm working see reality and want to transform it or not, no, that reality. So I think that, yeah, in certain disciplines, it is easier to come, no, closer to people. But I think also that if we try to open it and to be working in an interdisciplinary way and to be opening always our questions, then we can go into, no, talking about, for example, the soil scientists, no, that we could say, oh no, they are only focusing in their own soil. No, so when we hear all of a sudden, the soil is a living being, huh? No, living being, no, it is a very biophysical, no, yeah, but when the farmers are expressing, no, he's behaving bad. What, the soil is behaving bad? Why it's behaving, no, and has like human connotations, then we start to think, is the soils are really living? And now, no, the edaphologists are saying, yeah, that the soils are a living, no, being, oh, okay, now they, even then that they were only explaining from a only biophysical condition, no, now they are starting to have another approach and how to see the own, no, soils as a very interactive system, and that this perception about living, of course, it is not living biologically, but that it means that there are a lot of interactions among everything, no, everything of what it's in a soil. So then, no, how can we start thinking in another way? And the other point that, yeah, how foundations are always in projects and we cannot really, yeah, be getting rid of these projects, no? Yeah, that's true, no? And we have to start to convince also donors that perhaps, no, we are not going to have this solution in 2 years, but we will be working in understanding, you know, how people are dealing with this same problem, no? In the sense of if we are, for example, taking Tyson a problem, no? About really, is there a conflict animal, no, wild animals and population, or how are they dealing with, or how could we deal in a different way? So we have to hear the communities, the local communities. If not, we are going to impose something that afterwards it will be really a big failure, no? So then how to really be convincing the donors to say, we are constructing it little by little, and we will give you this, no, in the sense of, I think that we can have this perspective, we can have that, but I don't know which will be really the final results, because I am dealing with humans, no, and we are in a very complex society, no. So I think that we have to try to really re-educate our donors, no, in the sense of how to be really implementing these methodologies, decolonizing methodologies, and not to come with our view, with our development, no, view only, or with our biodiversity conservation view without hearing which are the other perspectives of their own reality. No? And I think that little by little it will permeate, and it will be making little holes, no, into the structure of the projects, and that we can be really thinking about different ways of constructing a relation, no, with the communities and bringing more good results for conservation or for the well-being of nature and humans, no?
Can I have one?
Yeah, please go ahead, Sion.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and thank you very much, Elena, and also thank you very much, Elena, for calling me Tyson again.
Sorry, right?
No, it's all right. Okay, so thank you very much for your very nice and very nice presentation, and it was really clear to understand. Well, I apologize for not sending my reflection and questions earlier, as I have been quite busy writing a manuscript to meet the deadline. I understand that participatory research approach is very complex and often requires spending significant time in the targeted study village. But as a woman working in a developing country, what has been your real experience and what challenge have you faced working with different stakeholders? Additionally, how long does it takes does it typically takes to gain the trust of the community? Trust is a very important pillar of a participatory approach, I think. And when it comes to that issue, you know, there is timing. When you deal with this kind of approach, there is a timing with the funder, with a different issue, you know. So how can we manage our timing to get this? I mean, getting this trust also by itself takes lots of time, and other issue also needs lots of time. Additionally, sometimes it's very challenging also. I mean, when we deal with the decolonizing approach, you know, it's very challenging to center the knowledge and voice of indigenous people, especially, as you said before, when their culture practice such as like hunting conflict with the conservation effort. For example, in one of my project sites, people live alongside wildlife where prey density is healthy and the area serves as a refuge for this wild prey. However, when it comes to large carnivore, the community perceives them as enemies because they predate, they hunt their livestock. So in such case, how can we balance centering their knowledge and while addressing conservation goals? So that's my question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sion. Yeah, I think that you touch a very important point, that it is trust, no? I was going to have like the apple with all like the qualities of the researchers that are in the participatory research, because not everybody can really go into that, no? But and one of us trust, how to be empathical and how to build trust. And I think that's a main issue, no? How to really deal with trust. And because, you know, we have to think that all these communities have been suffering a lot for external people, no? That they come or to decide no, which land is to be used like that or that, or they come to, you know, as merchants, or they come to do, so they are always deciding, no, things that are not the ones that the community will be wishing. So they have always a negative experience with external people, no? So then the first thing, it is mistrust, no? So then afterwards, of course, if we go only once a year, no, we cannot trust, we cannot build trust like that, no? So in these type of projects, yeah, you have to go, you know, and to say, well, at least, no, once in a month, I will be going only, even if I only have 3 days, I will be going 3 days, no? Or every 2 months, but it's staying a little bit longer because I don't have, you know, financial support to be really going every month, no? So you have to also deal with that. But then you say, okay, but in the 2 months, then I will be going and I'll be staying in their community. So I can realize what is happening, no? And I know a lot of students, no, in biology or in ecology, for example, in Mexico, no, that they stay in the biological reserves, no? And then afterwards they go to the community and they say, no, you have to go to the community and stay there, because if not, people will be always saying, looking at you as an external person and saying, he's a biologist. He's only coming to scold us because we make this, we make that, we don't know. So he's not only coming to really say that we are doing bad things, no? But if you are going there and you are starting to learn, people start to really see you as a different person, no? And if you are asking, and why do you do this? Yeah. And why do you do that? Okay, no. So then it is little by little that you start to construct this trust process, no? And the second point, of course, it is always to understand different realities, no? And when we see there is only conflict, or we can solve, we can deal with this conflict with big mammals and what is happening with our livestock, no? How can we really try to see, and if really there are many attacks, how often there are the attacks, how often they are losing their livestock, how are they, no? So then we have to start to talk with them and to see their own perspectives, and how can we deal with these realities, no, that they are living day to day, no? And to also that they understand why it will be important to then see the other angle, that it's your angle, no? That the importance to be conserving the big mammals, no? Or how can we make that they will make a different vision of that, in the sense of, can they really get something about it, no? Can we really say, okay, if people are starting to come as tourists and they will be interested in to see the big mammals, how can we deal with giving to the community a little hotel, or a little that, or a little that, or charging the tourists to have like taxes, no, community taxes, or community like that will be only for the community, in order, no, that they will be replacing all their livestock lost, no, or no, the fences, or to be really trying to understand their own realities, but also that they understand the importance, no, of your own reality, that it is, no, the conservation of the big mammals, no? But it takes time. Of course, it takes time. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you.
And also to have like the possibility to understand, no, what does that mean, no, to be losing your livestock when a big mammal is attacking, no, them, or not, or it is not so frequent, or how could we deal with that, or could they be like making like a statistics, no, or how can we deal with that, or how could we construct from that problem possibility of alternatives, and how to find alternatives to that conflict, no?
Yeah, I actually did that quantifying the number of livestock that they have lost for the past 5 years, and it was really a lot of numbers, and they totally don't want to see large carnivores in their village, because because when they see the large carnivores in their village, the first thing what comes in their mind is just killing, so that's why I said it will be very challenging sometimes to center the knowledge and the voice of local people or indigenous people, because when I at some point asked them, inquired them to give me like a recommendation on how they can prevent, or on how they can avoid this kind of problem, the majority of the people said like either translocate the animals to other place, or culling. These are the 2 points that they raise. And also they also mentioned the issue of fencing and compensation. This kind of thing, it's really hard to center with this kind of knowledge, while that the country, the status of your country, because they can't afford compensating for all that livestock, for all that loss of livestock. And you know that it's really hard to stop the pressure of livestock, that livestock grazing, to stop livestock grazing in that protected area, because these people are like the owner of like thousands of livestock, so they need the grazing land. It's sometimes it's very challenging to balance the conservation goal and the knowledge of local community when it comes to the issue of decolonizing approach. That was my fear.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, it's very important to center the knowledge of local people to center their voice. We have to be the media to share their voice, but sometimes it's very challenging. While that we are in the brink of extinction, the sixth extinction. Sometimes it's very hard, to be to center such kind of knowledge.
Yeah. There are experiences. I was visiting Ladakh, northwest India, and they are dealing with the snow leopard, no? And how communities are trying to be involved in their conservation. And there are some communities, very small communities, that they are building like very little hotels where they receive the tourists, and tourists are paying a lot, no? If they can see a snow leopard. So then all it's for the community. So now, no, they are saying, okay, then no, we are not killing the snow leopard because people are coming, people are paying to be here, and that is the way that, for example, they are solving it. Or even I saw that young people were photographing snow leopards, or this I forgot the name of the. It's not a goat. It's just like to be involving children, no? If you bring a photo of this, that, then you will be winning the contest, then you will be winning that, and it can be you participate your photo in that and that. And now children are very much involved, no, in trying to, I want to see a snow leopard, I want to see this, I want to see that, so I can be participating, for example, in this contest, no? So I think that I recommend you to like look for a lot of bibliography, no, about these relations of human and carnivores, or even if they are not carnivores, no, but they are being killed because of hunting, no, but yeah.
Maybe just to add, I think it's also very important to know when should have to involve the local community. Especially when it comes to Ethiopia, we're at the early stage of gathering all the information, all the knowledge, because of many factors. We don't have enough knowledge or information on the on the experience of peoples towards conservation. So maybe there is a time when you should have to involve the local communities, or I don't know, maybe timing also matters when we should follow this kind of approach, or when we should apply a participatory approach, because it has cost and benefit, So for example, in my study area, there are different protected areas, that range from strictly protected, they follow strict protected area guidelines, and towards community conservation area. So when it comes to community conservation area, we record lots of livestock loss, and we record also lots of retaliatory killing. So once you have this kind of knowledge, maybe you will get this gap, or the knowledge gap in the local people or indigenous people. Maybe can we say that after we know the gap of our people, then we will apply such kind of methodology to deal further, or to study further on that issue? Maybe I don't know. Because
I think that we have to discuss much more. So I think we only have like, 15 minutes, not more. But to discuss of each project, you will receive one page that they have written Nam in one page and Margaret in the other page about the research questions and important results that they were only, you can read them quickly. And afterwards, what I would like you to really think about it is if you were starting research, no, a participatory research or transdisciplinary research, how you will be starting dealing if you have that results with that stakeholders, how you will be starting and how you will be really expecting like to have what type of results. So this will be like the two questions. And so I think that now we can separate in both groups. Some of you will be analyzing Margaret research project, and so the other ones will be dealing with the NAM project. So how to transform this question into a transdisciplinary research project, and which will be like the possible results that you will be having. A little bit, answering Francesco's question about, well, what can we give to the donors, how can we deal with that? Okay, then first you, Pam.
Yeah, thank you very much for so basically we in our team we read the project of the Ghana team. The title is Assessment of Ecosystem-Based Livelihood on Biodiversity of the Greater Lagoon Complex, Ramsar site in Ghana. So looking at the aims of the project is to investigate the effect of ecosystem-based livelihood on the biodiversity within the KLCRF in Ghana. And the research question, they proposed 6 research questions. And by reading these 6 research questions, we agree that to answer the research question, the Ghana team need to involve different stakeholders into their research, including citizens, including the policymakers, and including the scientists, because they want to see the dependency of the societal ecological impact on the ecosystem-based livelihood. So that's why for this study, we believe that interdisciplinary approach is a good one. And then I personally think that they should start with the qualitative approach to answer the research question. And interestingly, they involve like 5 communities within the KLCRF, and by doing both ecological survey and social survey, they have some preliminary results show to the end of the page number 3, the similarity and the differences in terms of the causes of the change in biodiversity of this area in Ghana. So that's our comment about Ghana project.
Your audio was not excellent, but yeah. Did the other ones understand something? Yeah, it's because her audio was not so.
Laveni, do you want to add more?
I don't know if Laveni.
Is it from the Vietnam team or?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I was with that. Yeah.
Maybe
I think I'd just like to reiterate that I already had a bit of transdisciplinary approach. However, we thought that the stakeholder components needed to be clarified more so that they can relate some of their research questions or with reference to the different stakeholders and how the different stakeholders is impacted by the the impacted within that complex. And then from their preliminary results, it shows that the data is still, I could say, quantitative and could be elaborated more on how it impacts the different stakeholders. I mean, they've listed causes and changes in biodiversity, but how it impacts on the community is an approach that could be more transdisciplinary.
Mhm. Thank you, Laveni. I hope the other ones could hear. I don't know if the second group can say something about the Vietnam project.
Yeah, we have. Can I say something, or is there
Yes,
anyone?
yes, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, the Vietnam team discussed how to address the research question to change it into multidisciplinary. And Malalatina shared her experience, noting that many farmers in Vietnam already use LCCP. So they advise that the team should they just suggest that the team should have to focus their research question not on the LCCP, the low chemical pesticide farming. So the team suggests focusing their research question on a bio-friendly practice rather than the low chemical pesticide farming approach. So it should be, I mean, they advise that they advise that it would be more benefitable if they really focus on the solution part rather than the problem. And if any other of you want to explain it more, please. Hello?
Maybe I can add for our discussion that it's better to do a follow-up after the project, because as Malalatin told to us after the visit in Vietnam, it is still so far for the Vietnamese people to adopt the new approach than the HCPP. And also to know more and understand also why there is still there this problem. I think that's from my side, but I think that the other person can have also their advice.
So to a focus group is the what I say, focus group is a good to conduct this Vietnam research, I think, because then farmers need to be closer from the people who have some power to change that's it's.
Can you finish the phrase? To change? How do you say?
To change their way to produce vegetables, or to conduct their technical agriculture, because in Vietnam there are some power of the governments or of sailor.
Oops, I think we lost, or you finished, Maria Tatiana?
Sorry, my connection is so bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay,
finished. Yeah.
okay. Mhm. Yeah, well, it is only, you know, you can continue to think about the, no, what you have read about the abstract that the Margaret gave us for the case of Ghana and that Nam gave us for the case of Vietnam, and to continue thinking. We don't have to really make like yeah to construct too many arguments, but it will be nice that you will continue thinking. And even though, well, now it is time to go, but I think it would be nice if you could spend like 5-10 minutes more by your own, and then afterwards to be thinking, what would I need, no, to really transform this project into a transdisciplinary project, no? Because as Lavani was saying, it's already multidisciplinary, it is also interdisciplinary. The Margaret's project, for example, in the case of Ghana, but then how, or from what you heard, no, in my exposition, how to transform this project into a transdisciplinary project, no interdisciplinary project, but transdisciplinary project, no? So only if you give like, you know, some ideas, it would be nice that you write them down and you could send them afterwards to me. I can read them. Yeah, it will be difficult that you will be working again together as a group, but if you can then write them personally, individually, and then you can send them to us, it will be great. So I can read them and say, oh, okay, they put more attention in this or in another point, or so you could be like having, yeah, a learning process in the sense of in a case, no, that it is yeah, it was exposed and that we know them already, no, from the several expositions that Margaret and Nam have been making. Is it clear? Because now it is, I know that you want to go, it is 3 o'clock, but I don't know if it is clear, the homework.
Yes.
Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't hear you, Elena. What was the homework?
Yeah, if you could please, as there was very little time to discuss it together, and that also there were a lot of, yeah, not a very good communication because of the internet, then I
Yes.
would ask you if you could write by your own, individually, how could you transform the project that you read, this abstract, and to transform it into a transdisciplinary project of what I expose, of my exposition, and of what, you know, you have been learning and you have been hearing in another parts and etc. How could you transform this project that now it is more interdisciplinary into a transdisciplinary project? What you would do? And as we have problems of communication, then perhaps it would be much better that if you write them separately, individually, and then send it to us, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only, you know, half page, it is not more, but it only to feel it and to think about it, and to be learning, no, from a concrete project, or from a concrete case study. Yes.
Yes, Elena, that's clear.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any other question or comment, I will then only want to thank you once again for your presence, but also, you know, like you have you know, the little roots that can grow into you and say, well, no, I know now about these participatory projects. I know now about transdisciplinary projects and research. So perhaps for my next project, I can switch a little bit and be, in these kind of reflections, actions, reflections. So you can be questioning also your own projects and questioning your own results. And that would be great if you could, start to do it from now on, and then to be really like trying to get into these participatory projects with the ethical responsibilities that we should follow. If not for me, that will be, yeah, as a conclusion, no?
Great. If anyone has any comment, any question right now, please go ahead. Okay, so I see it's a time. It's a bit past, so I would like to again thank everybody for making the time and for engaging, for thinking about this, for sending the questions and comments, and of course to Elena, because she has been there from the very beginning, like proposing these activities that are so important and very needed, that actually make us think of how this can be integrated into our future of work, not only Gideon's work, but I hope everybody's work. So thank you so much, Elena, and we will continue the conversation actually after this. And I think everybody here can be involved in how can these two workshops can be put into probably something written, right? Something that it's well documented and it's there. Because I think that everybody with their experiences in the projects that they have a very, very valuable experiences that can be shared with a wider community. So we'll be in touch. I know it is the last phase where everyone is very hurried, very busy writing the last beats. So I hope this has been very useful, and well, have a wonderful weekend and talk to you soon.